Hi everyone, my name's Elliot. I am one third of the Tonight team and I'm here to explain to you a little bit about the application and why we built it. So we had the idea of doing a lifestyle application which gives you events essentially. So what will happen is if you're stuck with something to do on a night out or you've travelled to a different city where you are unfamiliar with it and don't know where to go, you use this app, type in the city that you're in, and you can either get the dates for this evening or tonight as it were, or you can get it straight across to the end of the month and it will tell you what's going on. It's mainly for the gig goer, the music lover, the kind of travelling person, if you've got to go away for a while, the city breaks, you know, that kind of thing. It just gives you a little bit more pep to your itinerary, if you like. We used front-end frameworks, namely React, CSS, we used the Ticketmaster API integration, we used Google Maps integration, and we had an authentication used by Auth0. So what I'll do, I'll take you through it, a little bit about what it does and what my ideas were behind the design and layout and such like that. Okay, so when you first land on the application, there is nothing. It will just give you a title and a login button. The idea is that we want you to create an account first so that you can store information in there based on your preferences. Should you visit this app in the future, if we click login, we get straight to our authentication page used by Auth0. We'll sign in with Google because a little bit easier. So once you've logged in, you are then presented with your account page, your logout button, the logo, which is also linked up to the home page, and the search. So you would enter your city here. So let's go for where we are, Manchester. Two options. So you can search by tonight, which will give you just this evening's events, or you can do get future events, which will give you for the rest of the month. So if we search by get future events, so there we go. So it brings up a separate event card just here, which is styled and customized as to make it as appealing as possible. You get the name of the act, your favorite link button, should you want to do that, which will link to your account page, the venue, the date and the time, and obviously more information. Now, your more information, should you want it and require it, if you're interested in the event, will give you a pop-up.
Hi, my name is PCR Mackenzie. I'm a member of the Tonight project.
We have created pop-up cards for the More Info button on the event cards. As you can see, when you click on the More Info button, it generates a pop-up card that shows more information. In the cards, we display more details of the event like date, time, address, and accessibility details. People can click on the Buy Tickets button to get the tickets from the Ticketmaster. We also have a Google Map view to show the actual location on the map. It can be zoom in and out and move it around to see the exact location of the venue. Onto the coding side. To create the pop-up card, we use a pop-up component from npm React library called React.js Pop-up. It creates simple pop-up cards for us to customize information to display. We can customize and add any information that is provided from the API to display here. And to add Google Map view on the pop-up card, we use another package on React library called React Google Map API to get Google Map component from Google Map API to display the map and pinpoint the exact geolocation of the venue.
So my role in this was the design and the implementation. So straight away, as soon as we did it, we got the MVP rolling, which was basically to search, take a call to the API and bring it straight back, which was the first thing that got implemented. So this uses a local endpoint from your search value that adds an event, an on-click if you like, straight to that API call, and then brings it back in. Depending on which parameter you go for, will change obviously the number of events you get, which obviously I'm sure you've gathered by now, but that is what happens from the. We used Axios on that to try and get that working. Used Flexbox to make this as responsive as possible, especially disregarding the now, especially on the main landing page and the event card. Straight to a mobile view, as you can see, everything moves in, does what it's got to do, looks nice and sharp. Again, everything works, brings everything back in. The navbar was originally Flexbox, but I found that as you started compressing things and it became more responsive, it would just crush things together. After that, I started using Grid, which became a massive help. It meant I can just be a little bit more accurate with my positioning and where I wanted things. If we go onto favorite the event, and I can take you over to the account page, click on the favorite acts, and that will come up with everything that you've currently stored in. It only at the moment gives you the name of the act, and we would have liked it going forward. I think we're going to implement more of a detailed list of this, so it'll give you the date, event and time, so you can keep a track on what you've got to do. We also wanted to add some more functionality which would enable sort of alerts, so you can track bands either through genre or from your favourite artist list, and it will tell you when they're near your current location. The reason I chose Auth0 for the authentication, it's a very easy and simple thing to integrate. I did initially go to Firebase to use it, but after days of mulling around and reading through docs, I just couldn't get it to work. So I did some research, found the Auth0 codes, implemented it. Not only did it work first time, it's very intuitive. Obviously, React Roost is being used in this, so this will give you endpoints to your account, log out functions, and if I click this, it'll go back home. So it's been a nice bit of functionality, and obviously React's quite a powerful library anyway, so we thought, why not? It's modern technology, and it works, functions as we should. So yeah, hopefully that was insightful.
Hello, my name's David, and I'm one of the Tonight team, and I was principally involved in the back-end and deployment of this application. So this back-end is an Express application that is deployed on AWS as a Lambda function. AWS is quite hard to just jump in and get your hands dirty with. There's a lot going on, so serverless abstracts a lot of that away and is a great entry point. Serverless was the primary kind of entry point into this AWS ecosystem. So initially this backend API was very simple. The Lambda function was there with an API gateway endpoint, used purely initially to query the Ticketmaster API, which is our main API for data, and to return it in a more easily digestible format for the front end. We've added a couple more functions through this /user endpoint. They are protected endpoints which use the Auth0 authentication package that we've used, authentication service, an SDK, in order to grab a JWT and provide protected endpoints and protected verified user interaction with our DynamoDB. So that's what this Express API does. So it deals with our favoriting function basically, but there is scope for more there as well. Principally, the two database calls will be addition of favorites to the user, and the addition and the grabbing of all the user's favorites for displaying in the account page, which is not complete as of this video being recorded. Blockers, a couple of blockers with this took quite a while to get our head around. So learning the Auth0 authentication service and how the JWTs are formed and how to get hold of a JWT took a long time, and also then feeding that into the application and querying that user and then applying the Auth0's user database, because there's a user database on that backend as well, on that Auth0 platform, that we didn't want to include in our own database because there's no point in duplicating work. We thought if Auth0 are dealing with the users, then we can deal with the extra functionality, but we would like to we'd like to link those databases one way or another. So we did that by using the JWTs, and the JWTs contain a bit more about, they have our user's ID, which we then use in our DynamoDB to append our favorites to, and we have that link between the user account then and the DynamoDB. Okay. Another blocker was actually dealing with AWS. There is a lot going on with AWS, and it's very difficult to grasp when you first get on it without any prior knowledge. In hindsight, Lambda functions might not be the best way to go for an Express API. However, we wanted to meld what we knew quite well, which was Express, as we've used that quite a lot in the course, with a new service that was something else. I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of our favoriting functionality and how it works. Bear in mind the pulling of favourites and displaying of that is still in early stages, so it doesn't look great, but it does the job. There's a couple of things to iron out with cores, but otherwise it's good and functional at the moment. So this is our DynamoDB that stores our favourite data, and at the moment there's nothing in it because I've cleared it. But if I go to the deployed application, I'll log out, I'll log back in, access the application. I'm going to just search for events in Manchester, and I'll just add a couple of favourites. And I think if we look in the console, yes, we have created a couple of objects that post request to our database. So let's have a look, see if they are there. So you can see they've been appended, so that's the user ID, my unique user ID from Auth0, and the ID of the act. So now if I go to my account, you can see that those acts are just pulled in under favourite acts. The idea for this going forward will be to pull the list of favourite acts and allow users to click on this act's name and see where they're playing next. Or we have an idea of showing which acts are nearby on a big map, where they are in the country, and also having notifications for acts that you favorited that are playing. So that's future state. But right now we've managed to get the functionality working and linked in with the API and AWS and the DynamoDB. So that's great stuff, but plenty to think about going forward.